Let's share it. So, you are welcome. So, you are welcome. And once again, Happy New Year. And welcome to the year 2026. I think my second live session here. So let's talk on it sounds like a continuation on the last topic, on the last subject, on the unripe plantain. It was part of the experience, the very ugly experience I had in 2025. Today, let's look at the 3 lessons I learned eating unripe plantain. Now, when we talk of unripe plantain, this is what it is. This is already ripe. Let's not confuse it with, look at it. This is the ripe. When it's ripe, this one is already having patches. But when it is not ripe, look at it. It's green. It's usually green in color. So it is that particular green color that I want to talk about. It's usually said to have less sugar. It doesn't have as much. The more ripened it is, the more sugar it carries, and the sweeter it is. And so if you are in love with sweet foods, you will enjoy it. Of a truth, I normally enjoy the ripe one. It's usually sweet. We all love good things, and it has its own specific benefits. So, but the green plantain, as we call it, the unripe plantain, is the one that has often been misunderstood, especially by many seniors. And the necessity of this particular program, this live, is to alert us, to create the awareness, especially with seniors who are so specially still in love with the green plantain, which could be consumed in various ways. Now, the green plantain could be consumed either by drying it to make powder out of it, which we use to make swallow. You can also make porridge out of it. You can also dry roast it, like what we popularly call boli. You can dry roast it and eat. So you can even pound it as a swallow. So there are various ways to consume it. But then there is one singular similarity with the unripe plantain, the green plantain, and that is the fact that it has that resistant kind of starch. Like every other food, it has its good sides and it has its own downsides too. But the sad story is that a lot of people are not aware of the downsides of the green plantain. As a matter of fact, most pre-diabetics and diabetics tend to take it as the last hope for managing diabetes. I've had to chat a couple of people who are dealing with diabetes, not 1, not 2, not 3 persons. And they were innocently and ignorantly still consuming the green plantain and the unripe plantain while having series of complications in their health. I had chatted a woman, a 54 years old woman, who had been on medication for about 5 years, managing diabetes. And at the time she came to me, she was directed to me, she was like fed up, getting fed up, because it was seeming like she wasn't getting the response she was getting earlier with the medications. And the good news I want to also let us know is that within 1 week of asking her to drop the unripe plantain and making some changes to her diet, her blood sugar came down to normal. That's the good news. It is something that happened about 3-4 weeks ago. So it's not a very old story. So, but in this particular case, I want to share with us my own specific experiences and why I want to suggest, or rather advise seniors after 60s to slow down on unripe. Hello, Grace. God bless you. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Chris. Can you let me know where you are chatting me from? I'm talking on the lessons I learned in 2025 consuming unripe plantain. And I already showed us an image of the wrapped version. Sorry, I could have brought the real green plantain, but it's not available right now. So you just see the wrapped one, and then the unwrapped version is the green plantain. Don't mix it up with banana. They are two different fruits. And so let me know where you are chatting from, Chris. And you are welcome again to the house. So the first experience I had, some of you may have had it, but I'll be taking these experiences sequentially. By sequentially, I mean as they occurred. I'm going to be taking the one that occurred first, and then the one that occurred second, and the one that happened third. And it may have happened to some of you without you even knowing it, that it was the cause. So you need to be very, very cautious, even if you are not up to 60, but particularly if you're in your 60s. But if you are not up to 60 or 55, if I had known before now, if somebody had told me, okay, yes, I'm in United Kingdom, a place in the north called Liverpool. I've benefited from so much since finding your channel. Okay, I'm so excited with your comments, and I'm glad again to have you, Chris. You're welcome. So stay put while I share my experience with unripe plantain. So unripe plantain has been, promoted a lot. Yes, Dara, you're welcome. Hi, I'm glad to have you. Don't forget to drop the location where you are chatting from. This is Nigeria. So, as I was saying now, the unripe plantain is something that has been promoted. Let me put it, it's been rather over-promoted. Because I remember some of our elderly parents then who were diabetic while I was still young. They were always eating unripe plantain. Of course, I didn't know much as I know now. Maybe I may have been of help to them. So the unripe plantain is a resistant starch, which is great when managing blood sugar as a good source of energy without, rushing into your bloodstream. So it's not a simple sugar. It does not rush into the sugar or the glucose or whatever is released slowly. That is exactly what it means. And that's why WAS is your color. Okay, thank you. So that is why it is called a resistant starch. So it's slowly released. So it doesn't spike your sugar suddenly as is expected in case of diabetics. And so because of these attributes in unripe plantain, a lot of seniors have taken it up with it without even bothering to find out more information or without even listening to their body to know whether their body is communicating otherwise. All they know is that it's, as a matter of fact, some people consume it morning and evening. Either they make it porridge out of it and they now take the evening for swallow dried. The worst part of it is even the dried version. Let me tell you the truth. The dried version is even worse because some of them carry things like molds. They are not dried properly. So, but that's not the subject. The point I want to make, the first lesson I learned while I was, enjoying this natural food. Remember, it's a healthy food. It's a natural food. It's a source of potassium. It's a good source of energy. Even it is said to be a source of the B6. And if you go to look at what the B6 does, it controls a lot of things in the body, including your anxiety. Those of you who are having anxiety feelings, if you have sufficient B6, it may be minimized. And so similar, several other things like that. But then I also began to enjoy it from the age 50, 55, from 55 and above. I began to take it because I want to have, good health. I want to, prevent diabetes and similar things like that. And so the first thing I noticed a few years back, despite all the hype on it about the green plantain, at certain point, you don't even tend to reason with yourself. You just believe what everyone is doing because everyone is saying it's good and they're eating it. You just seem to follow and you don't tend to listen. But then I began to also consume the unripe plantain as a good source of energy and several things. And suddenly I noticed something. And that was my feet began to get darker. So it's good to be very observant. My feet, the lower part of my legs, just before my toes, when I look at it, I notice it's darker. Then I will stop. That's the first experience. Then I will stop the unripe plantain for some time. I didn't know much. You remember that knowledge is increasing every day. So I didn't really know much. I wasn't researching much. But I just noticed that if I find out something like that, even in terms of beauty and whatever, you wouldn't want your toes, your legs to look darker than your body when you are not using a bleaching cream or some other creams. So usually at that time, I just take a break on it. And I noticed that after about 1 month of taking a break, it tends to disappear and everywhere looks normal. Then I went on. That was the first ugly effect and negative side. But I didn't know what was making it happen. But now I know. I now know why it was actually not bringing out that color of dark color around my toes, around my legs. And without having to go for investigation or medical or whatever, I just felt it wasn't even good visibly seeing it like that. But it's also an indication that the body is saying something. The body is communicating to me of what is going on inside, which may require interpretation. So I decided to stop and I was experimenting it. Then over a couple of times, I decided to stay off it. It was no longer much part of my diet. I switched to something like sweet potatoes most of the time. And sweet potatoes seem to be, doing a little bit okay. Remember, I was about 55. But right now, none of them is even top on my list anymore because of the lessons I'm learning from each of them. Every food, there are lessons to learn if you are very, very observant. So that was the first lesson, and I didn't know what was responsible, but now I think I know. So over the years, I decided to eat it, to go. That is my own finding. It's not good, just like every other food. It contains potassium. If you are looking for food that will help to hold your skin together, that flabbiness that comes with aging, if you want to reduce it, unripe plantain is very good in it because of the nutrients. So it's something that once in a while I like to go to it. So on another occasion, I again brought it in, and this time around, it was even a bunch of it. You know, when you harvest something from your own farm or your own backyard, you know you're going to have lots of it. So there is more temptation to have too much. Yes, if you are not careful. The temptation to overdo it is higher then, because this time you're not even buying it. So that was the second experience. This second experience, I wasn't buying it. The first experience, I was buying. This time around, I harvested it and brought it home into my kitchen. So I began to enjoy the unripe plantain on a regular basis. I was enjoying it. Oh my God. Lo and behold, the first thing I noticed, you know, the ugly side of this whole thing is that it doesn't show these things right away, like some other foods will do. If you eat rice, for instance, it doesn't waste time for you to experience something like a crash in your blood sugar. So you quickly know that this food is bad. If you eat certain food that are high in sugar, it doesn't take time for that spike to happen. So you quickly understand that this food is bad. But the ugly side is that it works secretly. When I say an insidious enemy, secretly, silently, that's how it works. So over time, I was enjoying it. I didn't notice anything. Always full of energy. It makes your skin look firm. Everywhere, when you look at yourself, you say, yes, you're good, you're looking strong. And as a matter of fact, even the darkness on the feet, I wasn't careful to notice it. Or maybe it wasn't there, I don't know. But then, something else happened. Or probably I was eating some other foods that took care of that darkening around the legs. So the next thing that happened was I began to experience slight increase in the tummy area. So this is another thing that you need to be doing, looking at your tummy. In case you are wondering, how do you even know whether whether there is insulin resistance? Yeah, some of you may not know. I didn't know, really. I have the machine to check my blood sugar, but it's not really something I have to do every day. And I don't. At times I don't do for a month. At times, just like that. It's not something you have to put all your mind on and be running around with machine checking your blood sugar. No, I don't do it. And I don't even suggest it for that. But once in a while, when you eat certain foods and you think maybe you're feeling somehow, you can just go check your blood sugar. That's what I do. So that if it's high, you may easily link it to that food and then take precaution, or you rather be cautious with it, and then you understand that it can really spike sugar. So I was taking the unripe plantain until I started noticing this slight increase, slight increase around my waistline. It's something you can hardly notice until after a long time. So when having my bath, I would notice that I started noticing it's really getting bigger but firm. That's why you won't even notice it. But then, my dear, it wasn't too long. I noticed that insulin resistance was building up. That's the second experience. Insulin resistance was building up. It was building up secretly. And this is what I've had to advise a lot of people, that when I say to certain individual that this is the food I want you to take out of your diet if you're going through insulin resistance, at least temporarily. I'm not saying that it should be, indefinitely out of your diet. It's a natural food, it's a healthy food. But you see, consuming it consistently, this number 2 is one of the things that happen. Where some people may link it to blood group, because I have had some talks about blood group, whether your blood group allows it or not, whether your blood group, whether your blood group whether your blood group allows certain food or not. Well, that is something different from the topic and what I'm talking about. But the point was that it began to build up insulin resistance. So that's the second experience. So it was building it up until it began to really increase. And before it could have turned to something like a pre-diabetic, I already found out. I had to battle with it for a couple of days. And the first thing was to discontinue the consumption of the unripe plantain. That was a very big decision. I've had to leave them out. If they want to waste, let them waste, instead of wasting my own body. So I had to discontinue it completely, the unripe plantain, in order to have the insulin resistance that it was building up reversed. And I began to consume foods to help deal with the insulin resistance. I began to drink things like guava leaf tea from time to time. I began to take things like, I began to take foods like hibiscus flower tea, began to chew things like cloves. I just began to eat even things like chia seeds. I began to take foods, to help break through. Because the insulin resistance we're talking about is not something that you just sweep away overnight. That it takes time to build up. And that's why most diabetes, before you know it, before it's discovered, most time the damage is already done and completed and out. A lot of things damaged. So what happened? I took it out and began to take these steps, and it began to gradually to go away. And when this insulin resistance is building up, your body may be increasing, but it may not be in the same proportion with your stomach. But you may notice slight increase. But it may, because your body is always firm, it's not soft. So it's not easy for you to quickly notice that you are increasing in size, little. But the point where it is very obvious, where you can easily link it to that insulin resistance, was the stomach area. It starts getting bigger. And if you're already having a big tummy and you're managing diabetes, you may have to look into your diet and look for the foods. Get the foods that can help you to reverse the insulin resistance. It's reversible. And get your tummy back. Coconut oil, cold press is one of the foods. Even the olive oil, cold pressed olive oil on empty stomach. Coconut oil is okay if you're experiencing it. There are some of them that won't go away until you bring fat in. Some of them are bound with cholesterol. They can't easily go away. So you need fat, especially when the stomach is empty, to help to, release their grip and begin to get you free from their effect. So the insulin resistance was gradually reversed also by incorporating some of the foods. Occasional rosemary tea, I was taking ginger tea, hibiscus flower tea. I was taking particularly guava leaves. Sometimes I chew it raw. Little, don't take too much because it's very effective. So gradually, it's not something you're going to rush to say you're going to stop it right now and go away. No, it's something that you just make some dietary adjustment. That's what I did. And then the tummy over time will start going back gradually to the normal size. So that was the second experience I had. But how was I even consuming it? Remember that I was cooking it. Sometimes I make porridge out of it. Sometimes I add it to some other vegetables. Sometimes I boil it and use it with oil and other things like peppers. Sometimes I eat the ripe one. I was just eating it because it was available also. And then I was able to be out of the insulin resistance. That's the second experience, remember. Now, the first, let me tell you what I later realized that may have been responsible for the darkening of the feet. It doesn't allow blood flow. As you get older, you need to eat food that allow blood to flow, especially what you eat in the morning is very important. And that's where I'm going to mention the last one now, because the timing of eating it is also important. It's one of the foods I've heard people say it's best to eat it at night. Some say it, but I don't think, I usually feel that it's best to eat it in the morning. And that's why I look at it, so that it may help you to burn the fat, the energy, starches, and then sometimes it even acts as a blocker. That is not allowing, especially when consumed in the morning, not allowing other carbs to easily flow into glucose or sugar, to easily flow into the blood. To me, it acts like that in a way. The unripe plantain, when you take it in the morning, it acts somehow like a blocker. Yes, it acts like a blocker. It takes a long time to get absorbed. So it's like it blocks others also from going in, which is good in a way for diabetics and pre-diabetics. So after that experience of building up insulin resistance, I made a video on it to update my subscribers. I made a video to tell them they should beware. You can go search for that video of this very healthy food. That was the topic. I titled it, Beware Seniors, Beware of this Healthy Food. That was the topic, the title of that video. Then, it's almost a year now. Then, the last experience I had, but not the least, was the one that really gave me real pain. Real pain. This last time, I also got the unripe plantain from around my compound, around me. So it was not something I went for shopping. So it was again, and as you can see, the one I showed you, it's already having patches. Look at it. Look at it. It's part of it's not really part of it, but it is part of an unripe plantain that I kept to be consuming. But you can see this one is already getting ripe because it could not be refrigerated or for whatever, but you can see it's overripe already. But somehow we'll still try to make sure it's not wasted. So this last one was the unripe plantain, harvested, looking very fresh. And there is one thing you will notice that these experiences are not the same. The first one different, the second one different, the third one is also different. You can now also drop a comment. Drop a comment right now as you are watching me. If you have had any experience, unpleasant experience with unripe plantain, drop it while I share the last one before we end this live. But if you drop yours, we can also discuss and talk about it. And maybe somebody also may learn from it. So the last one was the unripe plantain again, the green plantain. And this time I had to prepare it in the morning. And guess how I decided to do it? I decided to use my air fryer. There was this air fryer that I just dedicated. So after my water therapy, I just decided to prepare this unripe plantain and start to dry roast it like they would dry the barley on the road by the roadside. And so instead of buying the roadside plantain, which sometimes is not usually very hygienic, they use some irons and other things to put it, and other hands, other passerbys will be touching it, and several other things. So I decided to use my air fryer. It's not something I do regularly. So to dry my unripe plantain. And guess what? It came out very well. It came out well dried. And I was so happy and excited that, oh, I found a new way to enjoy my bolly or unripe plantain, roasted, dry roasted. It was really something that gave me joy. But honestly, after that day, okay, if you want me to talk a little to that side, I will definitely do it. You see the ripe plantain. Now I want you to listen. You see the ripe plantain. Once that plantain ripens, that's what I'm doing now. You see that unripe stuff with all those things I did. I would still come to this last one because it almost took me to the hospital. But I didn't. I thank God I did. It was so painful by my right hip. For 2 nights, I was like screaming before I turned on the bed. I couldn't turn. I said, so this is what people are really going through, suffering arthritis. It was so painful. It just like blocked access to blood circulation. But you see this ripe plantain, once it's ripe, my dear, the best way to eat it, I don't know what other experience you may have. The best way to eat it for us seniors is to eat it unripe like that. As a matter of fact, I ate it yesterday. I ate it today. And then during that period, about immediately the pain was gone. I ate the remaining ones that are ripe like that without having to do anything but just slice and enjoy myself. And if you have something like you have a cocoa, maybe bitter cocoa to make a mug of tea, or you have oats with black seeds, you can mix it with a little soya beans and just use it. But using it raw is what I enjoy best now, and it doesn't affect me. It's sweet. It doesn't need additional sweetness, but the sweetness doesn't spike my sugar maybe after a couple of days. Because when I eat some foods like that, when I eat certain foods, maybe for 2 or 3 days, that I know that I'm enjoying, maybe sweet or something like that, after some time, I go check my sugar. That's what I do. I go carry my sugar check, monitoring, and check my sugar to know, having in mind that I've enjoyed that food and it's sweet, and it's something I would like to put in my list. I like to go and check my sugar to know its effect on my blood sugar. And I found out that it doesn't really affect it negatively. I'm talking of the ripe one. You know why? When you cook foods, I've said it before, and I'm repeating it, reminding us again, the way it's harder for the body to handle food that is cooked, whether you fry it or, as long as heat has come in contact with that food, the body requires more enzymes. It becomes more difficult for the body to deal with it. But you see, when the foods are raw, when I mean raw, like the unripe plantain, you just, as a matter of fact, I enjoy it more than the bananas. So when it's ripe, I just slice it and look for some protein stuff, whether it's tea or anything. As a few days ago, like 2 days ago now, I made myself oats, added all the other things, including some drops of, I added small black seed, little oats, black seed, cocoa. You know, cocoa is bitter, and then cinnamon and all this stuff. After preparing it, I now sliced the ripe banana, not cooked though, because I don't want trouble again. And I sliced the ripe banana and it was so tasty. Honestly, it was so tasty and I enjoyed it in the morning at about midday, maybe 12 or 11 o'clock. It was very, very wonderful. And it's something that, okay, you are saying I have been vegetarian. I've been slow to make the necessary changes. I'm vegetarian, but I eat lots of pizza and things, but I'm determined to put it right. That's a local man who sells plantain. I'm going today. Yes, it's good, especially in the morning. You know, it's sweet. If you can slice it to your oats. When it's ripe, don't fry it, don't cook it. Now, you remember I haven't shared the last experience. It was a very bitter experience. I was just trying to, enjoy myself and feel this holiday time, the children are around, let's enjoy, let's use the air fryer and make some bolly and all of that. And I did it. The unripe plantain, my dear, the pain didn't start immediately. I ate my unripe plantain with a little olive oil. Actually, I added olive oil in the middle of it in order to avoid trouble, but it didn't still work out. Maybe I should have added salt and pepper, or maybe I should have added vegetables. I didn't add any of this. I didn't add salt. Remember that sea salt is a digestive. It helps food to digest. It helps to put minerals. So I didn't add salt. I need to let you know all of this. So maybe it was even a mistake from my side. So I didn't add salt. I didn't add peppers. Pepper is great, especially for seniors. Remember, I did a video recently telling us the foods you should eat every day in 2026. If you want to stay healthy, can go and watch that video. If you haven't watched it, it's one of the last. I don't just share things. I share things that I know is working for me. Things that I know practically that this is what I do. After that experience also, I realized that pepper is very important. Because I remember I dry roasted that unripe plantain. I didn't eat it with pepper. I didn't add salt. All I remember I did was that I opened the middle of it and I dropped olive oil. That was all I did. And I ate it very much too, because I had to eat up to 1.5 or almost 2 of it, which is much. And the timing of the consumption was also not right, because I have to look back into all this. When the pain began, it was so painful. So the timing was after water therapy. I often tell us that we should take raw foods in the morning, seniors. It's not a joke. There is a reason for that. That very day, I didn't take the raw foods. It's not to say that anytime you don't take raw foods, something gonna happen. No. But you see hard foods like this unripe plantain. If there had been raw foods like carrots, cabbage, and similar foods like that ahead, I'm sure maybe it wouldn't have just hit the intestine directly like that. That was my thinking when I began to feel the pain. It will have just had some kind of buffer, not just to hit and go straight and cause some havoc. I call it havoc. So the other raw vegetables will have gathered the mucus and then provided a mild form of shield. Remember, it was the first food that hit the intestine. It's very important. Be careful. Let me also warn us seniors. Let us be careful of that first food that hits your intestine in the morning. It can determine how your night will be. Don't joke with it. That was also one lesson I learned. Being careful with the first food that hits the intestine. Don't be in a hurry. After water therapy, it's better to start with foods that are gentle. If you have things like some liquid foods, for instance, that the body can easily use to get activated, I used to like tiger nut drink, which is mixed with, if it's mixed with turmeric and ginger. I used to like it with some dates. Make the juice of it, or just scoop it like that with the fiber. It goes well with me in the morning. So it may not be this thing, but it contains most of the minerals, and it comes with water. So the body will have, getting some, some strength, instead of eating it with a hard food like that unripe plantain. It was a lesson I learned. So the seniors should be careful. You see, the first food that hits the intestine, you may not feel the effect immediately. I didn't. But the effect was at night. When I lay down, I was about to take off after having my bath. I noticed I couldn't move my leg. My left leg was finding it difficult to follow me. I was wondering what's going on. And that was how the whole pain began. And that pain was severe and lasted for 3 days. Almost landed me in the hospital December last year. And guess what? I traced it. You must trace it too. When you have anything like health challenge, don't be in a hurry. First of all, find out where you opened the door, how you brought in this problem upon yourself. Don't just be in a hurry to think you are running to the pharmacy or over-the-counter medication. The most important thing to do is to find out what you did or what you didn't do. That was exactly what I did. The minute the pain started, my mind went to that breakfast. So, my dear, let's be careful what we have for breakfast. I already also, some months ago, I did a video. Yes, okay. Thank you for that. So I did a video on being careful with your breakfast. Sometimes that breakfast, now, if you are quite young, you may not agree with what I'm saying. If you are quite young, you may what I'm saying may look like it's not a reality. But those in their 60s, those in 65s, so those who are over 50, they may have started experiencing these things because our body is changing. Yes, it's changing. Whether you know it or you don't, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, your body is changing. That's about 3-4 years ago, I was enjoying sweet potatoes. In the morning, I would just eat lots of it. My skin will be glowing. My skin will be shining. Sometimes I even tend to eat with beans, vegetable, but I tell you, it's gradually, and I repeat, gradually being skimmed out of my diet. Not to be skimmed out completely, but the quantity and the frequency I used to consume it there has grossly reduced, because it is a carbohydrate, because it's high in carbohydrates. So it's no longer business as usual for me. I take just little, a bite, or just a slice. It's all I take these days after I clock 60. Yes. Because when you are 61, 62, and you are talking to someone 65, there may be something that those people at that point may be experiencing, which you may have not started going through. So it's always important to learn and then prepare. Get yourself prepared. Because if I had someone to tell me, to educate me, I think I may not have gone through them. That's the truth. They wouldn't happen. If I had someone to educate me. And so be careful of what you have in the morning. Not food that are hard, not food that are harsh. After frying it or drying it or whatever, it became harder. So it was that hardness that made me go and use olive oil. But lo and behold, the olive oil wasn't even enough. Maybe I didn't put enough. I just added a little. That was all. And so there was not even a protein. Remember, protein is the building block. Although I later had protein. But the point was that it was actually the first food that hit the intestine. That was also a lesson for me. Maybe you can call it the fourth lesson. But I don't want to more than 3. Let it all be 3. It's one of the lessons because it really was the first food that hit the intestine. So it was able to cause that havoc, to hinder blood flow, maybe to the leg. And the worst that was hit was the right leg, around the hip area. And it's even worse if you are managing weight gain. Yes, if your weight is already big and you are already trying to work on it, it affects you more. Yes, it affects you more. If your weight is already on the high side, your body mass. So that was one of the lessons I learned. To be careful of unripe plantain. Dry roasting it or frying it or whichever you call it to the point that it's looking dry. Be careful with it if you are a senior, because it may hurt you in a way, in another way, or the same way. It may hurt you in another way because the point or the place where it may block may be different from the one that happened to me. So you just have to be careful. So I want you to comment. Better eat it ripe. Enjoy it ripe in moderation. And if you are enjoying it ripe, if you can find anything proteinous to add a little to it, it's very great. Like I said, I added a little, I made some oats, added some soya bean powder that I made some soya beans, very good fermented soya beans. If you can add protein to it and eat it raw, you don't even need sugar again to your oats. You just enjoy. It tastes so great. Add your black seed to the oats, add your cocoa bitter, and then ginger and cinnamon, all those stuff. At the end of the day, you're going to have something to energize you and will taste great. You will enjoy the taste without any spike in your sugar. You have to sprinkle cinnamon because cinnamon will help you make it tasty and then not allow the spike in your sugar. And if you don't like cinnamon, you can even use ginger or cloves. You can sprinkle small cloves, but I always like cinnamon because of the taste it adds to it, adding sea salt and other things. So let me have your own experience. Drop it in the comments because the essence of this is to caution you. Be careful with that food. It can even cause you pain. It can cause you cough if you take too much. It can cause insulin resistance. Yes, even if you're on medication, your legs could begin to get darker like mine was getting because of poor blood circulation to the legs. If you are choosing a food in the morning, choose food that fall like in form of grains that can allow blood to flow to your legs. You can take teas like cocoa. If you like coffee occasionally, coffee is okay, once in a long while. There are other teas. You can take ginger and turmeric. Okay, Chris, you are coming to say, I'm not an old man at 36. Okay, I love that. But my body has had the problems of an old man. Feet swelling. This shocked me. I decided to behave as if I am looking after. You are very, very humorous. You're a very funny person. Looking after a 100-year-old body. That's how shocked it made me. Now, let me also comment on this, your comment, Chris. Let me tell you, when you are experiencing things like this, sometimes it may be that God is preparing you to become a consultant by the time you are 50 or 60. Honestly, you know, when my own problem started, it started at 38, 39. So when people see me talk, I've had to help even people who are in the medical line to take back their health. A lot of them. I'm not saying this for you to think I'm too knowledgeable. It's just all of the grace of God. My own started from 38, 39 years when I was having my premenopause experience and some other emotional things that really, shook me very, very well. So I thought that was the end of life for me. But I tell you, it was like a school. So when you are quite young and you are experiencing a lot of these things, you are in a school, my dear. I went to that school. You know, when I graduated, I was in that school of all kinds of sicknesses, including stomach ulcer. That people, I got so lean at a point that they were saying I should go for HIV test. I said I wasn't going to do any test. I don't have business with HIV. That I'm a child of God. So I decided to leave myself, trying to look after myself and give myself up for whatever God decides. I began 38, 39. So ill. When I say sick, I was so sick, everything. Typhoid, malaria, ulcer, just name it. Obesity was there. At a time, I became so skinny. So it was all like that until the age of 50. Let me just put it, 48, 49, when my full menopause year came. Because then, small time, I run to the hospital, say, there's too much, women with their, you're a man, I'm a woman, complications, the womb is bleeding, and all kinds of things. And lo and behold, by the time I was 49 and I didn't go anywhere, I thought I would have died by that time. I said, "Go God, that I was going to teach people." When I began to enjoy good health, that you can actually live a whole healthy life without being sick, without taking drugs, without going for medication. And that's the life I've been living. I've not taken antibiotics since that time. I've not gone to any hospital for anything. I prayed that this should be my CV, that if I should start running in and out of hospital, then I don't have a message. So you do not have to be discouraged. It may be your training school that God put you. I went to that training school. It's not usually sweet. You'll be wondering, when I see healthy people, then I'll be watching, I'll be looking, I see people lifting their hands in church and be praising, but sometimes I couldn't lift one like this. They say hormonal imbalance. Sometimes something will hook. This bone will like hook. I cannot lift hand. When I see people lifting their hands, I'll be wondering. It's like film. So I've seen a lot of these things. And so the counsel I can give you, you don't have to be discouraged. You have been registered into this school. If you are always sick and you are having these challenges that old men, some of them are not even having it, it may be an indication to your assignment, because you need to learn. I know a lot of people are wondering when I talk. I have heard some older men say they wonder how their wife is asking them, how does this woman know all these things? How does she come about all this? No, because I've been through it. If you come to being skinny, I have been skinny to the point that even to sit on the bench, when I see fat people, I begin to envy, I admire them. But I've also been fat, weighing up to 120 kg. I have some of my images in the house, very big. Then all the sicknesses were there. So you can see what it is. And I walked myself down. It was then also I got to know that weight gain. I've made series of videos that if you are gaining weight, run for your life, especially seniors, because that's the time to do something. If you don't do something, something will do you very soon. It is because of all these experiences. And as a matter of fact, if you at 36, you are experiencing those things, just be encouraged, because by the time you get to 50 or 45, you'll be a consultant. And this is not something, this type of training is not something you just go and learn for 3 months. It's not a circular thing. God will have to take you through a lot of sufferings. Yes, you go suffer. If you don't suffer, you will not understand what people who are going through that thing suffer. I've suffered insomnia. So when they are talking, I understand what it feels like. See, this last one now, serious pain. I know I had pain at one time, but it's a long time on my hand, but it's a very long time. And sometimes when I think I've forgotten what it feels like, something happens like this last one. I had to really feel real pain. I was limping. To lift one leg was like, it was too painful. We need to appreciate God because of our health. If you've never been sick, suffer pains, you will not know what people suffer or go through when they say they have arthritis, they have pains or whatever. And so, my dear, don't worry yourself, don't bother. In everything, give thanks to God, because this is the will of God for you. I don't know whether you are, I think your name is Chris. I believe you're a Christian. So you don't need to worry, my dear. I registered in this school of sickness and disease, at the age of 38, 39. It continued till I was 40, until 48. I wrote one small book on coconut oil at about when all this thing was going on. I wrote a handbook on cold-pressed coconut oil. That was also part of the journey. Several other things like that. So, my dear, just maintain a positive mindset in it. Don't look at it. Don't at any point begin to wonder, why is me? Is it me? Why am I so young and going through all this? See that it's for a purpose, because the Bible says that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. So it may be that you are not even thinking of God. You are not even bothered about God. But whether you are thinking about it or thinking about him or not, he is thinking about you. He created you for a purpose. So just maintain a positive mindset. When the time comes, you too, you will manifest. People will start coming to you, consulting you, to tell them how you solve your feet swelling, how you solved your diabetes, how you solve this problem. That is exactly how it works. So you don't have to keep it, you have to be sharing it, because that was what I did. Immediately I recovered, I started sharing, telling people. I went to hospitals, telling them, teaching hospitals in Lagos, telling them how, as a matter of fact, I applied formally at the OPD and was teaching and educating them how never to be sick again. So that is it. Are you okay with that? I need more contributions before we draw the curtain. I need more contributions. Okay, you say you are right. I believe this as well. God has visited us with these problems in order to accelerate our efforts. When I look truthfully at our Lord, he conquered temptation for 40 days and nights. Yes. It shows that you are in agreement with what I'm saying. You made a very relevant, comparison with what happened to the Lord, our Lord Jesus Christ. If he didn't suffer those things, he won't be able to help those who are suffering. He has to conquer it. If you don't conquer it, how can you help others? Myself, if I didn't conquer my own through the grace of God, not by my own power, so how will I even know what people are talking about? I was battling typhoid and malaria every now and then. I was going in and out of hospital, all the laboratories, they've tested me. All the drugs. I was always testing the new medications, antibiotics. Then, if I didn't live without them for more than 15, 16 years, then what message do I have? So these are the messages. Hi, you're welcome, Just Tige also. Let me know where you are chatting, where you're talking from. Jazz. Grace Enemali is my name, and I'm talking on the last 3 experiences I had consuming the unripe plantain. And right now, I'm taking questions from the house. So if you have any question on any aspect, or any area that you think you need to use natural foods, I'll be glad to assist. Yes, your location, my dear, your location. Justy Go. Your location, where are you chatting from? It's question time now. So let me have your comment also. And your question, even if it's not related to the unripe plantain stuff, you can still drop your question if you desire to stay healthy naturally, if you want to follow my lifestyle. Yes, because that's the life that I live. So let me have your contribution or your comment or even your question on this aspect. Staying healthy naturally through natural foods, using my own life experience. This is what I thought, using natural foods. Thank you, Chris, for your contribution. Thank you for your comments. Yes, I'm waiting for any other comments, or else we'll be rounding it up. If you don't comment again, I'm waiting for your comments. I'm waiting for your contributions. Yes, hello, Jazz Tige. Yes, King's men, King's ways. May the Lord Jesus Christ continue to protect and strengthen you and all your household. Amen. I used to watch your program, Mommy. Oh my God, that's great. That's wonderful. That's interesting. I'm quite excited to read this comment. Thank you, King's men, King's ways. And where are you commenting from? Your location, please. I'd like to know where you are sending those wonderful comments from. King's men, King's ways. Your location, I'm also waiting for Jazz Tige or so, something like that. I can't get it at Jazzy, something like that. Jazzy Tige. So let me know where you are chatting from. I'm watching from Spain, ma. Okay. Oh, all the way from Spain. I'm glad to have you in the house. You're welcome. You're highly welcome. Are you learning anything? Oh my God, that's great. Jastige has sent me something. Happy New Year. I love you. Well, let me give you a clap. A clap. That's a wonderful one. That's a great one. He sent me something for the new year. Oh, Jastige said, I am from London. Oh my God. Oh my God. You made my new year. You made my new year great. That's a wonderful one. That's a great one. Jastige has made my new year very, very good. I'm starting on a very good note so that I need more. Mama need more. Mama need more. Mama need more. I need more to energize me. So that's it. That's a great one. Yes. So thank you. I love you too. Love you all. I love you, Chris. Please, I want to know the importance of. Okay, somebody is asking a question. This is Kingsman Kingsway saying, I want to know the importance of. Oh, that's another one. I'm getting something again. Just watch it. Another $4. $4 is coming, 99 pence is coming in again from Jastige. You can see, that's wonderful. That's great. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. God bless you. God bless you. More blessings in your purse. And I pray that your purse, you will be replenished. As you give, God will open door for you. More blessings. Yes, as you sow, you will also reap bountifully in this year 2026. And no evil shall befall you. Thank you so much. I love that. And so I want to attend to this question. It says, Kingsman Ways says, please, ma, I want to know the importance of unripe plantain. You know, I had already said that unripe plantain is a source of potassium. Yes, it helps you, it slows down the release of its own glucose and sugar slowly. And so it's a good source of energy. That's 4 pounds. And okay, sorry, you said that's 4 pounds. Okay, yes, 4 pounds and 99 pence. Thank you so much. Kingsman, I say 4 pounds, yes. Kingsman, Kingsways. I'm excited. Honestly, I am. I'm truly excited. It's a good way to start the new year. It's a great way to start the new year. And it's quite encouraging. Thank you so much. And so I'm saying that the unripe plantain is a food that helps us get energy naturally. A lot of people have, resorted to the unripe plantain when managing diabetes. It's great for your heart only when taken in moderation. It's a source of B6 for managing things like anxiety attacks. It's even great for those managing stomach ulcers. He said, I love you too. Thank you so much for telling me that. I am buzzing. Thank you. That's 4 pounds. Okay, that's great. I love you too. Thank you so much, Chris. So I'm responding to this young man, or I think it's a man. So he is asking about the unripe plantain. Though I've said a lot about it, but let me briefly also add that, or rather summarize that, it's great for your heart only when taken in moderation. Mark it, only when taken in moderation. So it's not a food I suggest you take every day, like people are doing. Don't eat it every day. Once a week is okay. Yes, ma, I am listening and watching you. Yes, it's not a food that you should take every day, but don't leave it out of your diet if you're a senior, because your heart needs potassium. It makes your heart strong. Please, you can write this one down. This is something I've practically known. I want to let you know. You see, unripe plantain, despite what I said today, the 3 lessons I learned is still in my list. It's still in my list. As a matter of fact, there are times when you should know that you need unripe plantain. If you are over 60 and you suddenly notice that your heart is always having one issue or the other, it may be that it's weak. That's what happens to me. There are times when you feel it, that the cartilage, like your body seems to be weak generally, both the heart, both the body. When it happens like that, I go for unripe plantain. Go for unripe plantain and consume it with vegetables and another complete food like egg. It goes well. You can take it with egg, which is low in calorie. It has complete amino acids. You can also take it with even soya beans, if you have a good one, fermented like I do have occasionally. Or you can make it with fish. Make with vegetables, take good fat, put cayenne pepper and then sea salt. Remember the one I said that almost hurt me? I didn't take pepper. I didn't take any pepper with it. I didn't take any salt with it. Don't play with salt. Salt is very important. So you need to take it to support your heart. That is it. To give you energy. To slow down the release of, sometimes to slow down sugar slowly, to release sugar slowly, so you don't have a spike in your blood sugar. It slows the onset of insulin resistance. But if you take it frequently, it can also kickstart it. That was what almost happened to me, if you watch this video from the beginning. But because I was a bit smart, I already know the signs. So immediately it began to happen. I noticed that this looks like insulin. Immediately my stomach started getting bigger and bigger. I said, this looks like insulin resistance. And I quickly stopped it. So the unripe plantain is something you should not take out of your diet. I mean every word of what I'm telling you. Don't joke with it. It's a longevity food. I also made a video. There are foods that we tag as longevity food. Unripe plantain is a longevity food, but only when you take it in moderation. But if you take it anyhow, if you take it in large amounts regularly, and you take it at the wrong time, it can really hurt, just like any other food. There is no food that won't hurt when you take it wrongly, in excess, whichever. Is it beans? Is it meat? Is it soya beans? Or is it vegetables? You don't know that too much vegetable can hurt your kidney? Oh, you don't know. There is no food. Just think of it. I've tried to check. There's none. Even the cabbage that we say is good for over 60s, it's a gut-running food. Too much of it will start disturbing your thyroid. Yes, the cabbage. So mention that food, that when you take too much, some of the acidic fruits, if you look at my teeth around here, you see some of them are already peeling. Why? Because of acids. Oranges, lemons, some of them, they all have their ugly effect when taken in. Even when the acid is too much, it's wrong, it's bad. You start feeling it. So that's why our slogan here is that moderation is our rule. That's our watchword. That's our slogan, that food is our medicine, but moderation remains our rule. Because if you want to take unripe plantain every day, you definitely won't like it again. But don't leave it out of your diet. Once a week, once in 2 weeks, it's okay. The foods that should feature regularly are the grains, and mostly the non-glutinous grains, the ones that are gluten-free. The unripe plantain must be part of it, because when you are taking too much grains, they will come up with a problem. You can start having itching, rashes on your skin, because they contain the B group of vitamins. And when you consume such foods too much over a long time, you start having, that's one of the effects of too much of those B group of vitamins, because they are not, they are water soluble. There are things that can just be coming out like that, and you'll be experiencing itching on your skin. And you won't know where it's coming from. Because of what? Too much of grains. By the time you go to hospital, they are going to definitely give it one name or the other and start putting your medication. So you don't have to indulge too much on grains, because grains are not significant source of vitamin A and vitamin C. Remember that these vitamin A and vitamin C are powerful antioxidants. Now, if you are consuming the grains too much, because these grains are mostly rich in the big group of vitamins, but a good number of them are not good in this vitamin A. But this unripe plantain is a source of the vitamin A. It's a source of the B6. And the B6 controls a lot of things in the body, including how our body responds to noise, anxiety attacks, and all those stuff. So you need to take it occasionally without having to overdo it, especially when you are thinking of when you are thinking of morning, when to consume it, because you don't have to consume it too much, number one. Number two, you do not have to dry roast it. That's the mistake I made. But obviously, it's a good food. It's not even, the unripe plantain is not even high in calorie like the ripe one. And that's why a lot of people love it. Are you listening? So that's why you need to, be very, very careful with it. If you are giving it to yourself, to your mom, or to your dad, or to anybody, you need to remember that it is not a source of protein. Some people don't remember that it's not a protein food. When you are consuming the unripe plantain, you must ensure that protein goes with it. And I said that if it's ripe, you eat it ripe, eat it raw, slice it and enjoy it, either with your oats and your soya beans, or with your oats and your cocoa, or you can take it with any other. If you have a good nut, like cashew nut or peanut in small amount, you can take it with the ripe plantain. But you see the unripe one, you don't have to make the mistake that I made. Don't make the mistake I made. And I will never try it again. And that's why I thought to share with us. Don't eat such hard and harsh food. Don't let them hit your intestine first thing after your water therapy. It's better to start with raw foods or drinks, warm foods that are gentle. The unripe plantain is great. Please, I call it, remember, it's, when I'm listing longevity foods, it's one of it. So don't make that mistake, because I mentioned these 3 ugly experiences doesn't make me make it out. But I could stay for 2 months. Let me make this very clear, without taking the plantain. So it's not a regular part of my diet. It may be because of my blood group. I don't know. Because we hear that there is a new study saying that some people's blood group could handle certain foods. No, I'm not into scientific research and studies, but we are hearing that some people's body or blood group or blood group type could handle certain foods. I don't know about that, but what I know is that it's no longer a regular feature in my diet because of some of these experiences, but it is also not absent in my list. Once in a while, I go for it. But I also prefer the ripe version, like the one I showed us. Look at it. Look at this one, is overripe now. Look at this is the ripe one. But when it is not ripe, it is green. Yes, when it's not ripe, it is green. So when it's not ripe, it is green. So when it's ripe, you can slice it and put it inside your oats, or just eat it. You can use any nut because it's sugary when it's ripe, but it doesn't hurt you as well if taken in moderation. I love it a lot. I like to eat it a lot, but not too much. Why? Because it still carries more calorie. You know, it has the more ripened it is, the more sugary it is, the more calorie that it carries. So these are the challenges. So if you eat the unripe one, it doesn't have the calorie that the ripe one is having. And most time it is this calorie that we are running away from. Calorie is not good for old people, for seniors. So if we eat the unripe one, it's lighter in weight. But then it has its own hurts. Though it's lighter, it's not a light food like that. It's very resistant. It doesn't easily get into your body like that. More so when you now dry roast it like I did, or air fry it, it now dries out the remaining calories. So it remains something dried, and sometimes it's harsh on the intestine if you take it like that on empty stomach. So it looks like it's harsh. It's harsh. So we have to be careful how we take such foods that are just strong and having rough kind of, they are just harsh on the intestine. So it's one of such foods. Besides that, it's okay. You can grate it also. You can grate it, blend it to smooth, and use it to prepare your porridge or whatever. And make sure you add some other low-calorie vegetables like onions, garlic, you know, vegetables, fish or egg. Make sure there's protein. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, okay. So any other question before we end it? Because at least you are okay, you are satisfied with that. So Chris, are you still there? I want to appreciate all of you for coming. I want to really appreciate you. I'm so happy. I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Unripe plantain. Don't joke with it. Any other question? Who else wants to talk or want to say something before we draw the curtain? Yes. Healthy food place. Healthy food place. You are welcome. You are welcome. Yes, thank you, Grace. You provided much today. God bless you. In Jesus' name. Amen. So here we'll be drawing the curtain right now. Thank you all, particularly those of you who gifted me and those of you who contributed. I want to appreciate you, Chris. Okay, somebody is saying something. I don't want to leave you just go without your question. You say, I swallowed the vitamin. Oh, which vitamin are you talking about? King's Ways. Which vitamin you're talking? By blending it to make fufu, but I had left over. Can I still make it today again? Can I still make and eat again today? Well, honestly speaking, it seems you have plenty of it. But it depends on your age, because I don't know your age right now. But you can have it. But if you have it today, for whatever reason, my dear, give it like 4 or 5 days. To give it enough gap, or else insulin resistance starts secretly building up. So if you have some and you want to eat it today, there's nothing wrong. But what is where I suggest you not go like a week, 4 or 5 days eating it is not good. This is practically my experience. I don't suggest you eat it continuously for 3 or 4 days if you don't want the ugly side of it. You make fufu out of it. It's not bad. Where is that your location? Yes, I'm trying to check your location. Okay. The other one from London. This one from Spain. Okay. I can't get where you are chatting from. I can't get it. I can't get it. And I'm trying to check it. Can you drop it? Kingsway. Yeah. Where are you chatting from? Okay, Spain. Okay, sorry. It must have been a mistake. Yes, Spain. You stated so before. So when you are eating unripe plantain, don't make it regular in your diet. If you want to enjoy it, it's good. I'm telling you the truth, it's good. It makes your body strong. This body like this, instead of it falling apart. You see, when you see some people at 55, this place is already stooping, and everywhere stooping. My own is even stooping at almost 62, but it must try to stoop, but it should have been more than this. So your skin will start like looking not firm. Nobody loves it, and it doesn't. It's a sign of aging. So as I'm looking at you now, you now notice that this place is stooping down, and just like that. So, but when you eat unripe plantain, it's one of those foods that help to, hold it back. Not only the face, but the entire body from within. It seems to hold it, hold the whether ligaments or whatever. It seems to hold everything together. That is how I see it. That's how it works. So, but you don't have to take it too much. It's tend to hold everything together. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a laboratory investigation. It's something you will see visibly. That's how you look when you take it moderately. And you look firm and strong. That's a sign of low inflammation. It doesn't allow inflammation to just hitting your body anyhow. So that is one of the ways it benefits us. And we need to control the consumption so that we don't experience the ugly side of it. I want to really appreciate you all for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. You are all welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if this is your first time of coming this way. Grace Enemali is my name. Thank you for watching. See you again. Bye. Unless you have another question. Let me see. Okay, somebody is talking. Okay, Kingsway. He said, please, ma, can you also talk on falling hair? How old are you? Kingsway. How old are you? Yes, let me know how old are you, please. Let me know how old you are, Kingsman. Hello? Okay, 53 years. Now, let me just highlight a few things, because one thing that happens to me is that my hair tend to grow fast. Sometimes maybe hereditary, if you have family that normally have plenty of hair. Some don't have hair at all, just like when you have children. But there are food that actually help hair to grow. And the majority of them are foods that allows blood flow to the hair. If blood flow can be flowing, food that increases blood circulation, they are the foods that helps your hair to grow. Foods that are rich in vitamin A, they help your hair to grow. Foods that are rich in vitamin E, they also help your hair to grow. And you can see some of them in some seeds, spices, seeds like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, seeds that are rich sources of zinc, eggs. You can see them in things like ginger for blood circulation. When you are consuming foods that allows blood to flow round, foods like castor oil, you must have heard that one, is good. Even your hair, like here, look at me, you see this my eyebrow. At one point it was like falling. This place, you can see it's thicker now compared with my age. It should have been falling off. I have seen some people that are less older, so it should have been falling off and looking white, just like I have white hair around. But I began to use castor oil sometime last year, and I noticed that the thing is getting thicker and is looking darker. You can see it yourself. So even the eyelashes is part of these are the extremities. So when we are talking of extremities, when you are getting to age 50 and above, one of the major problem is blood circulation. And that's why we must include circulatory foods in our food every day. You must include foods that are good sources of omega-3 fatty acids, food that are rich in vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin C rich foods, oranges. Okay, you are saying, please, ma, we are using to rub the lashes, ma. Yes, look at me now. Can't you see it? Now, this thing was like falling off. And then the eyes, just let me explain to you. You see these eyes like this? These these eyelids, all of them, they are in the same, they seem to be in the same way or position of the hair, because it is hair that is there. It is hair that is here. It is hair that is on the skin. So there are extremities. You know, when you are getting to certain point, if blood find it difficult to get to those end areas, because the blood is circulating because of age, sometimes other things. So when I notice that it's getting very scanty, look at it. It's looking more beautiful now. I know how it was for somebody that is sick, almost 62 years. If you see the eyebrow looking dark, look at it. And it's not falling off. It was falling off due to maybe stress. And then the eyelids, the one on the eyelids was also all the time falling off and irritating. So when I began to apply the castor oil, I use it. I have one here. I have one, let me show us. You may not be able to know this thing. This is a castor oil. What I do is I just open it. I have one by my bedside. I just open it when I'm about to sleep. At least most times I do it, but I don't do it or I mean every day, I noticed that it's a detox. It has a mild detox effect. Many people may not know this because when you are doing anything, you are rubbing it on your skin, it's going to your bloodstream too. So you have to be mindful of this so that you don't just be pouring it all over, thinking that your body, your blood has no business with it. It has a lot to do. So it has a mild detox effect. That's what I found out myself. So I use it occasionally. And since I began to use it more regularly, I noticed that it's no longer falling away. It's no longer turning to gray here. But I don't use it on my hair. So my hair is a bit more white. I don't know, maybe why. Then on the eyebrow too, it used to look like swelling here. And then it will be itching and falling away on the edges. So I use it also on the edges to rub when I'm about to sleep. So it makes the eyelashes to remain and it's no longer itching, and to the point that you'll be pulling it out and almost all the eyelashes will be gone. So that problem is gone now because of, and occasionally I use ginger oil. Occasionally I use ginger. I mix ginger oil with a little olive oil. Because of the vitamin E in the olive oil, I mix a little. But you can even use any good brand and put it at the lashes. Then for the hair you are talking about, you can also put it at the edges. Now, I wouldn't suggest you rub it the whole hair because you say you are 53 years. But if you can put it around the edges, even if it's the ginger oil, mix it with the olive oil, rub it at the edge before you go to bed. If you do it for 2-3 weeks, you will notice that the follicles of the hair will be opening up and the hair will be growing. You will see it. This is not initially I was feeling like, what am I even doing? What is it for? But when I noticed that it contributes to our beauty and it's good to look beautiful, it's part of it. But initially I didn't mind. I say, what am I doing? What is it for? What, I don't even care, you know. But the thing was going out and it was affecting the look. It was even adding to the aging. So when you do it, you can take a little before you go to bed, put it at the edges. That's just my suggestion. I don't do that. Even the one I put on the eyebrow is when people see me, they comment, they say my front hair are not falling off, are not empty like that of most seniors. I've had somebody who commented that anyway. So if it's like that, it may be because the heat, when you put it around this place, it may have some mild effect around this place. But when you are having that problem, my hair is full. I just cut this hair about 2 weeks ago, and I want to cut it again. I can remove it for you to see. See, I just cut this hair about 2 weeks ago. So, and I'm trying to, you know, cut it again. So it's always growing fast. I don't know the reason for that. Maybe the food or whatever, but at 53, it should be. You can get it from supermarkets. They're even importing it from this one I'm having here is made in Egypt or so. This one is cold pressed castor seed oil. I think it's Egypt. I've seen it's from Egypt. I think this one is Egypt also. I think it's Egypt. I don't even see but I know it's Egypt or something like that. This particular one. Okay. They say it's product of Pakistan. Sorry, it's not Egypt, it's Pakistan. So there are various brands of the castor oil. If you get a good one, it will resolve it for you. Every night before you go to bed, you can take it and put around your front hair. It won't do you any harm. Mix it with ginger, or you can use only ginger. Okay, ma. I am so grateful. You are a true mother to all, and God will grant you longevity. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much for that prayers. I want to appreciate all of you for coming. You definitely get results. That's what I know. You definitely get results. It works. And I use mine to give you an example of a 62-year-old. And I know how it was falling away, almost emptying the entire place of no hair. But you can see the hairs are there. And it's not white. So that is it. It's going to work for you. I use it on my eye too. It's no longer itching me and disturbing me to the falling off. I use it. It helps to improve blood circulation. It has a lot of other things that the body needs there that will help to keep the hairs. And then if you rub it around, ginger oil mixed with olive oil. It's not something I read anywhere, but I mix it. Sometimes I use on my hand too to reduce arthritis of the hand. Rub it to improve circulation at bedtime. So that's all. Thank you for coming, and see you again.